Olá, meu nome é Ana de Magalhães, eu sou editora da Harvard Business Brasil e eu estou aqui hoje com a professora Mandy O'Neill, que veio para ser a nossa palestrante principal no nosso terceiro fórum sobre cultura organizacional e liderança. A Mandy é professora de gestão na George Mason University, ela é PhD pela Stanford University e é também psicóloga pela Maryland University. Is that right? Ok. A Mandy veio falar conosco sobre a emoção, né? A importância da emoção nas organizações, né? E principalmente em horas de crise e como isso está levando as empresas a prestar mais atenção nisso. E, na verdade, ela tem pesquisas muito interessantes, inclusive já publicadas na revista, sobre como o cuidado com a emoção dentro das organizações pode efetivamente aumentar a lucratividade das empresas. Mandy, I would like to know how cultural emotion can really help companies to, I don't know if the right word is speed up productivity or better revenues. How does that work? I know you have surveys on that, so you can demonstrate that culture of love and culture of caring can really improve the revenues in a company. And right after, if you could tell us how emotional culture can influence a company and people in the company in a moment of crisis. Okay?
So for a long time, when we talked about organizational culture, we focused on values. And the problem with values is they all sound good, excellence and result orientation, innovation. But the problem is sometimes it doesn't connect to actual behavior. So when I was doing work in organizations, I noticed that I asked about culture and people have to look at their badge and they say, excellence, quality. And I said, well, this is a problem because it's not the real culture. And they weren't thinking about an aspect of culture that is so deep and so immediate that it affects all aspects of our behavior, including inside of us, our hearts and our bodies, and that is the emotional aspect. So we know about emotions. We knew about emotions for 100 years, but we never connected how emotions, both within us and among us, affect the culture. So when I started to look at this, it was like opening Pandora's box to an aspect of culture that was almost undiscovered terrain. And one of the exciting things about emotions is they really do control our behavior and influence our behavior, and also they're contagious. Okay. So if I feel anxiety and I'm expressing anxiety, then you catch my anxiety. But also the interesting thing about emotional culture is leaders have an enormous influence on the emotions of their followers and their managers. And so I saw an opportunity here for culture change, but also for a new way of understanding how culture affects our behavior and ultimately the bottom line. So we started to find that culture affected attitudes, makes people feel more satisfied, lowers burnout. But then we also started to see that emotional culture, and in particular caring and affection and love, which was our first focus of study, really started to also impact clients. So we noticed that the culture among the employees actually bled over to the clients. So clients were happier with the organization when the emotional culture was full of caring and affection. So we thought, oh, this is interesting. Maybe it has this impact because not only are employees spreading it through their behavior, through their words, through their symbols, through their facial expressions, but also clients were catching it. So then we started to say, well, what if it actually affects the bottom line too? And so in our newest research, my collaborator Sigal Barceta and I are finding that it's not only just caring and affection, but also anxiety. And what we find there is that, in particular, anxiety is not always a bad thing. When it comes in a strong culture of love, it actually gets people motivated and can actually lower costs, which was
kind of, you have to have a balance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like with everything. I mean, it came up today in Brazil, Brazilian corporations saying, well, we have a lot of love actually. So, and I said, yeah, maybe you need to balance the love with something else and anxiety. Okay. And actually the topic of anxiety is very important now in Brazil because Brazil is going through some political and economic challenges, and those influence the workplace. And so I think the work on how anxiety and love come together is very important for the Brazilian context because this is on people's minds and it's in their hearts, and it obviously affects their work. And so the thing we're learning though is that the clue to that actually may also be in the culture, not just of the organization, but of Brazilian culture. And so I did a survey of some of the participants here at the forum and discovered that the strongest emotion that people felt this past year was not anxiety, it was not anger, it was not disgust, it was determination.
Okay.
Determinação, no?
Determinação, exato.
So the strongest emotion that people had been feeling is determination. And in English, we have a concept of resilience, which I think is very similar, which is the ability to come back after a struggle, after a challenge. And what I saw in people's responses is, yes, there are a lot of negative emotions, but the key to success might be in this determination to succeed. And because there is already a lot of warmth and love and strong relationships, this may help people to buffer the effects of the anxiety and the negative emotions. So it's not just the organization's culture, but also the larger environment.
It's kind of the Brazilian culture in a way.
I think so. I mean, I think there's future research to be done, and that's one great thing about and Harvard Business Review is a leader in bringing the research, to the practitioners, and in practitioners bringing their insights. So I think it's a great forum for bringing together science and practice.
So I would love to have in the pages of the magazine an article of yours talking about this Brazilian culture and in your research. It'll be great.
I'd love to.
Thank you
so much.
Okay.